Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from the Outskirts Internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for September 11th, 2021, with your host, Spacebaker2448, and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
I forgot to update the title while we were waiting.
Good one.
I keep forgetting to do that sometimes. So, we have some things to talk about.
Yep.
We have I want to call it a state of play, but it wasn't a state of play. It was like a PlayStation 5 showcase, but I'll be honest, I don't know what to talk about with it.
Fair.
Because I'm like, alright, the things I care about had no gameplay and were pretty practically teasers. The things that had stuff to show off probably are things I don't care about. So, poo.
Fair.
Also, now that I realize it, I posted the wrong thing in the articles. That one was from last year.
It didn't pick up in Discord, but I was doing slow clap. It picked up on OBS, so good enough.
1 second.
Yeah,
It doesn't help.
If I'd paid attention, I would have noticed that it said posted 12 months ago.
I didn't see that. I just saw the Ragnarok is coming, and I'm like, oh right, Thor Ragnarok, or not Thor Ragnarok. God damn it, God of War Ragnarok was showcased. Right, this must be the right one, right? And I look down in there and see that like PlayStation 5 announced releasing in November. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. Is this the wrong article? God damn it. So the right one's in there now. Thankfully.
Yeah, that one looks better, posted 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Also, had to fix that. The correct one was smaller than the other one, so I had to refix the spacing on the releases.
Right. But before we get into all that, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Not really a whole heck of a lot. Like, the biggest thing that has kind of been drawing me, at least the last few days, is Metroid Prime Randomizer. And I feel like this spurred because of a dumb idea that I originally had that may still actually happen, so I'm not going fully into that one until I decide whether that's actually happening. But yeah, it kind of started from there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this randomizer. I've been avoiding it because, the biggest problems I had with Prime was the backtracking, the massive backtracking, and the getting lost. Oddly enough, that's the two things that I don't really care for, and sometimes the game just does that. Oddly enough, the randomizer fixes that. It's one of those, looking at it now, I don't know why I waited this long. I'm really enjoying the having to think outside of the box and try to use broken memories from when I've played this game years ago to try to remember what rooms I can and cannot do with different equipment. And finding out that I can apparently do certain rooms with like half of the equipment I thought was needed. It's one of those, once I get the right settings, I might do a stream of one. And if at some point you ever felt the need to do that, a multi-world would be an interesting thing. I don't know your knowledge on Prime, so
it would be none.
I thought it might be.
How much have you exposed me to Metroid Prime? It's that much.
Okay.
It's exactly that much and nothing else.
So I feel like now I'm gonna go ahead and say it. We know Prime 4 is coming up. Just be prepared for a Prime trilogy at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna do corruption. Like, that might be something that I might have to let you play around on your end, because for me, I can boot up my Wii U. I've got a copy.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it practically on original hardware.
I'd have to figure out how to map those controls on Dolphin.
That would be the thing. I don't know how complicated that would be. Also, fun fact, the Prime randomizer isn't just for Prime 1. It can do all three.
Oh, goody.
And apparently you can do it with the actual trilogy as well. I would have to think it has to do with like some of the homebrew stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting into that. I will play it through Dolphin. I took the gamble with my 2DS doing the homebrew. I'm not willing to try that a second time.
Yeah. That is a very dangerous thing.
Not until I'm fully aware that Nintendo is not going to put another update out for the Wii U. Because bear in mind, they have put two out for the 3DS. One of them broke the homebrew temporarily. But yeah. One of those, yeah, I'm not taking that chance. Also, just gonna put this out there. I know it's because of Dread. What's bad is Dread might actually wind up being the first 2D Metroid I've actually sat all the way down and completed. Because I've played bits and pieces of Fusion and Zero Mission. But I've never really finished them. And every time I've ever tried Super Metroid, yeah, that never ends well.
I think Super Metroid is the only one that I've touched at all, and that's because I got a free copy from Nintendo Rewards, so I have it on my Wii U.
I feel like what's happened with Super Metroid is I'm bad at early game. So, yeah. It just spirals downhill from there. But yeah, outside of that, that's about it.
Well, I've finally finished Super Robot Wars T. It is very good, if very wordy. There is so much text in this game. There is about probably 4 novels worth of text in this game. But it's a really good tactics game. I really enjoyed it. I do understand now a complaint of they dropped too many units on you, and I'm like, yeah, they could probably back off the density of the units that you're facing a little bit. but I'm also looking at what I could do with my main character's unit and be like, I could obliterate half of a wave if this was upgraded right. And I found out how dumb New Game Plus is. So
the good dumb or the bad dumb?
The good dumb. So when you transfer to New Game Plus, you can choose to keep all of the upgrades you've done to your pilots, because your pilots and their mechs are two separate upgrade things you can do. Like your pilots can level up and get more stuff, and you can give them like certain abilities and stuff, but that's separate from the mechs that you can upgrade separately with its own separate money or a separate like currency that's in the game, but they don't level up. So you can choose either to refund all the points you spent on your pilots to get all that back to start your New Game Plus file with. Or you can have all of your units keep it. So when you start New Game Plus, all of your units have all those upgrades.
Was that the other one?
It was a different one. It was a new, hey, would you like to pay for followers? It was a new one. It's not one bot, it's another bot.
Okay. Okay.
You're just grabbing that text thing and upload it into the bot.
Yep. I'm not even giving them a shot.
So, you have those two options. You can also carry over 5 pieces of equipment that you've acquired throughout your run to carry over and to have at the start of the game. Bear in mind, that is any 5 pieces of equipment. So all of your stupid broken equipment that gives you all the bonuses and stuff, yeah, you can just have that to start the game. But then, here's the kicker. All that money you spent upgrading your mechs, it refunds you all of it automatically, and you have all of that from minute 1 of the New Game Plus save file. So guess what you can do?
What?
You can max out your mechs as they come in. So you can upgrade all of their weapons to be able to like maximize their damage. You can upgrade all of their base like stats to their maximum value, and it will barely hit your money. And bear in mind, all that money you spent, you're gaining again over the course of the save file. So you're essentially doubling your money over the course of the save file.
I forgot the only thing I can do is time out with the bot.
Right.
Good enough.
Yeah.
We'll catch it and then we can get rid of from there.
Yeah. So needless to say, your units will be incredibly busted and broken all throughout your second playthrough. And the game actually incentivizes you to do like a New Game Plus 3 for 4 runs, because if you New Game Plus a third time or up to like a 4th run, you actually get bonus equipment at the start of that file. Which makes sense because you do have several different split routes that you can take over the course of the game. And there are technically different endings depending on the character you choose at the start of the game. And there are 2 ending routes that you can choose from. So essentially, I don't know if there's like 4 technical endings, but there are 4 ways to end the game. Therefore, there's a reason to play the game through 4 times. I'm not going to play through the game 4 times because It is still a very chunky game. I didn't check my time on my save file, but it is up there, I'm sure. And I would like to not be burnt out on Super Robot Wars Tactics games before 30 comes out next month. So I just peeked at what New Game Plus I had to offer and was willing to stop there.
I mean, fair.
But the other thing I've played is The Sky of No Man.
Okay.
Or No Man's Sky.
Oh.
Yeah. That game.
And how was that
game.
dumpster fire? I mean, that game.
I think it's in a fine place now. But I think that entirely depends on what you want that game to be. Like, the best way I can put this is, do you want a Minecraft, but space, and 12 billion planets to explore? If so, yes. If not, no. No, I'm going to say no. Because the core conceit is the same, I feel like, in those from what I played. Because you're essentially dropped on a random planet, and you have to mine materials to fix your stuff, to get off planet, and then you explore planets to get materials and stuff, to do other stuff, and explore other planets. And since it's like so many updates later, you get base building, although I've hit the weirdest bug in the world with base building.
Okay.
So you place more or less pallets to build your rooms and stuff. If I place a pallet and then try to move it to a new location and place it, I cannot move it nor delete it until I restart the game. I don't know why. It is just how it is. But otherwise, it's fine. Like, I don't know if I'd put a lot of time into it, but I wouldn't mind just having it because it's $30 at the moment, which that's like the price of Minecraft, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, it's $30. I wouldn't mind playing this every now and again just to be like, hey, I want to go do a thing or go find something. And that's kind of it. But yeah, I got a base built up on the planet. Although there is one complaint, like proper complaint I have about the game, and it's the galaxy map. It is the worst galaxy map to try to navigate in existence. I hate it. So the galaxy map is like a proper 3D map of a bunch of stars and stuff. And it gives you a line that automatically puts you, I guess, on like a path to different star systems and stuff. The problem is if you try to backtrack, it's a pain in the ass. And while you're trying to backtrack, you can pick everything else in existence. But my main problem with it is, in order to travel from one star system to another, you have to burn a warp cell to travel. Why is this not just, you are here in the center of a circle, here are all the star systems within one fuel cell of you in a circle, and then here's all the star systems that are two fuel cells, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know why it's this weird 3D map that you have like camera control through that feels weird and bad to navigate. It sucks. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But that's the only real complaint I have. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like you get a whole lot as you're progressing so far. I'm like 2 hours in, and like I have a base, but I don't really have the best means to power it. So I don't have a box to put storage stuff in because the storage box requires power. Because apparently I can't just have a box that's not that doesn't require electricity. So I'm gonna need solar panels in order to power this thing, or to put a bunch of materials in so that the generator can last all of like 5 minutes. Which, again, feels really dumb and bad. I think my only other real complaint really is just some of the resource stuff, like the amount of resources you require for things is a bit excessive and kind of dumb and bad. I wish it was less.
I mean, fair.
But I guess that's what the creative mode is for, because there's a creative mode and the survival mode, and essentially all the modes from Minecraft are here in this game. Essentially.
So it's Minecraft the game.
It's Minecraft, but space! So, like, if it's your aesthetic, sure. If not, I don't know what's here for you then, if I'm being honest. Because there's not much, like, normal video game here. There is video game sandbox here, a lot like Minecraft, but there's not like normal video game here, if I'm being honest. So if you don't want sandbox video game, just don't play No Man's Sky, because it's not gonna be able to offer you anything else, to be honest. Because I don't think it can. At least not early on enough that I think it will keep your attention. Because, like I said, I think I'm like 2 hours in, and there's not a whole lot of things that aren't me wanting a thing at that point that's pushing me in directions. Outside of vague tutorial things that are making me go places. But otherwise, that is pretty much it. I helped my dad install our new stove that finally came in the other day. It has the Wi-Fi enable.
It has the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's got the Wi-Fi. Apparently, like, both our new stove and our new fridge you're able to connect an app to it. Like, and the stove one is useful because it actually like informs you of like when the timer on it is like closed or when it's done. The fridge one, the most it can do is you can control the temperatures and it can inform you when the door is open. Or when the door closes. And that's it. It's not very useful.
Are we doing it again? Or
I have no idea.
I just realized that I've got stuff all kinds of mixed up there. Why is the music actually above the alerts? That is odd. Excuse me, that's not where I told you to go.
So yeah, that's been the last couple weeks for me. But anything else before we hit the news?
I don't guess so.
All right then, it's showcase time for Sony for the PlayStation 5 that no one can buy.
Yeah, because of a chip shortage.
Yep. Isn't the Series X also being hit by that?
I mean, probably, but does the Series X really have any games?
Fair.
Just saying.
So, at this event, we've got some things to talk about. Unfortunately, a lot of them are teasers. So first up, do you remember a couple months ago when we talked about how there was this rumor that a specific studio was working on a KOTOR remake?
So we're getting a teaser for that one, I'm assuming?
Yes. We have a teaser for KOTOR remake from said studio. Because of course we are. But here is the downside. It will be a console exclusive for PlayStation 5 at launch. But it is coming to PC.
I mean, that's not the worst.
Yeah. But there is no release date. I believe the teaser is just, here is Revan. You know, the thing everyone remembers from KOTOR. And a title. And that's it. And Lucasfilm is involved in this. So no details on like if we're expanding stuff from the original game or if it's like a one-to-one remake or whatever.
Also, I know I'm skipping ahead, but I'm actually seeing the thing about Insomniac, right? That's not a trick, right?
No.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Didn't I tell you about that yesterday?
You might have.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I feel like I told you about this. But anywho, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands got some gameplay. It is Borderlands game. Honestly, it's from what I'm seeing, because I didn't watch the showcase. I was busy at the time. I have not bothered to go back and watch it. This looks like a Borderlands game through and through, except it's D&D-esque. So, at least it has a release date of March. Forspoken got some gameplay. This was originally Project Athia. I feel like we've talked about that one. Oh yeah, we saw this at like a Square Enix showcase of some kind. We've talked about this.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's now the title Forspoken. It is a modern magic game thingy. You run around, fight birds and dragons and stuff. It looks fine. Like, it looked good from the teaser. The traversal looks good. It might be fun. Do we have a release date? Spring of next year. Good. I would like release dates, please. I would like release dates within a year of when you are coming out, please.
On PC and PS5.
Yes. There's a lot of PS5 exclusivity going on at this event. I wonder why.
Well, you know, I get that. What I'm more puzzled with is the fact that we're getting split like that on some things.
Mm-hmm. But from a smaller team, we have Project Eve, which I guess if you're looking for Cyborg Girl beats the shit out of stuff, this is your video game. Because it's an action game. It looks fine. It looks very near on Automata, to be honest. Because you've got Cyborg Girl beating up stuff. You have little floating companion, and I feel like the camera angle even is like very similarly positioned. So I guess if you're looking to scratch your near itch, this will work, I guess. Do we have a release date? No, why would we? So what else we got? We have another teaser. Looks called what? Did they say this was? Kid Amnesia? PlayStation 5, PC via Epic Game Store, because this is Epic and Radiohead. And that's a teaser, and it's in November. Hey, that's the closest thing we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're going to break that because now we get to the things that we probably will actually talk about, which unfortunately, there's not much to talk about. So, Insomniac has not one, but 2 Marvel games to talk about. So first up, they're working on a Wolverine game that has no date. But I think it technically has a date because of something else.
I mean,
But
I'm game for that.
yeah.
Especially after seeing what they managed to pull off with Spider-Man. It's like, yeah. Can we just let them work on the Marvel games?
Yeah, although someone from Insomniac says it's very early in development, which I'm like, okay, are you sure? Because there's something else we need to talk about. Because, yeah, we have a Wolverine game coming, but we also have, of course, Spider-Man 2! Proper Spider-Man 2. With both Spidey and Morales, or Spidey and Miles. But Peter has his, like, robot legs from the Iron Spider suit on his regular suit from the Insomniac games. Miles, I don't think has anything spectacularly new. I think he's just got his regular stuff. We do see a dual takedown, but it's not gameplay, so to keep your assumptions in check on that one. Because it might be something, it might be nothing, who knows? But in the trailer, we get Kraven doing some voiceover for us, because he's talking about Hunt and stuff, so that's Kraven the Hunter talking to us. But at the end, it is Venom is revealed, and it's Venom. There's nothing spectacularly new here with Venom.
No, but does it not look like it more pulls from the cinematic version of Venom?
Oh, the one movie?
Because I know the cinematic version of Venom looks close to like some of the comic iterations.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this might pull more from that.
Well, he's more slimy textured, which I think it's just what you're going to do, because in the comics he's more flat. There's not a whole lot of texture to Venom outside of big and muscular.
I'm just meaning that still that they've got there.
Yeah. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Mm-hmm. But guess when this comes out?
Well, I mean, I kind of can't guess now because it's literally on the screen in front of me.
Right. It's coming out in 2023. 2 years from now, we shall get Spider-Man 2. I wonder what might be coming out between now and then.
I mean,
unless for some reason Wolverine is coming out after Spider-Man 2, and I'm like, wait, then why the fuck did you tell us you're working on a Wolverine game if we're waiting more than 2 years for it?
Did they give any kind of like images from it?
All we have is the teaser, which is just a cinematic, more or less. And it's just Wolverine at a bar. It looks like he beat everybody up. Someone wants to fight him some more, and then he pops the claws, and then that's the teaser.
Then I completely feel like that's farther out.
Then why announce it? Why?
Gotta get that Marvel hype.
Look, can it just be a rule that you are not allowed to announce your game until you're at least certain you're within a year of releasing it? Please.
So you wanted the last year to be barren? Just saying.
I know. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot more here besides, hey, Venom's here. They're paying off those teasers they did for the first game and for the Miles game.
Well,
and Kraven's also here because...
Some of them, at least.
Yeah. Kraven's here because we need to do 2 villains, so we're choosing Kraven because it will be fun, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
Kraven feels like such the weird.
We could be doing it in a different fashion too.
Yeah.
There are multiple Sinister Six teams.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that one out there. It could be the red herring. It might be a case of Kraven's meant to look like the secondary villain.
Mm-hmm.
Except for he's probably not.
We'll see.
All I'm kind of pointing towards is as many goblin pointers we got out of Spider-Man. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll be surprised if we don't have either Goblin or Hobgoblin come out of this one.
Yeah.
So that kind of is one of those. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. Kraven feels like an odd choice, but I feel like that's because they're doing something big.
Besides that, God of War Ragnarok got some gameplay and cinematic showcases. It looks to be expected for a God of War, or for the current God of Wars.
Also got you to grab the wrong article, so shoutouts to that as well.
Yeah. More or less, Kratos like, son, do not go commit murder like I do, please. But his son is like, but what if I have to? And he's like, you could try something better.
But murder looks fun.
That is essentially the dynamic. Kratos goes no on murder, but his kid's like, but what if it's the right only thing? But it looks like you're starting off pretty much where you were from the last game. So you've got more or less the axe and the blades and the shield.
So we're picking up with Dad of War.
Yep. I want to say it's like a year or so later. I think you're more or less picking up from the teaser from the end of the first game with Thor showing up, because they've shown the full art for Thor, and he is big and burly.
I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. And apparently all 9 realms are explorable in this game. Unlike the last one, where I think only like 4 of them, I think, you got to explore. And they were fairly linear on those. But yeah, that is the Dad of War 2. The oddest collection of Uncharted, 4 and Lost Legacy is coming to PlayStation 5 and PC, but not the first 3 games, because, to be fair, 1 is janky as fuck and probably meh, because you remember when Sony needed everything to have 6-axis controls? Guess what Uncharted 1 has a lot of?
Oh boy.
It also feels like the worst of the bunch because it felt like Naughty Dog didn't have a handle on things. 2 and 3 feel a lot better. GTA 5 and GTA Online are going to come to PlayStation 5 and Series X in March. Gran Turismo 7 is set for March as well. And Ghostwire Tokyo had gameplay shown off for it. This is that one game from like the Bethesda showcases that had the girl that was like the best part of that Bethesda showcase, but she's not working on this game anymore.
I don't remember this one right offhand.
It essentially was first person go deal with ghosts and stuff in Tokyo. This is honestly the first proper look we've gotten at the game from the looks of it. Looks like you're having to fight some Slythermen and other stuff. And do some ghost busting. And get stabbed, but not die. Yeah, it looks cool. Spring of next year, so everything's targeting spring of next year at the current moment, apparently. But that was the showcase. How do you feel?
Well, I mean,
The
Wolverine one's kind of got me on point. We all knew Spider-Man 2 was coming. So it's one of those. As far as both of those games, I'm not super eager yet because of the simple fact of we've not seen much. But at the same time, I'm not at the case of, oh, you have to win me on it. No, they've pretty much won me.
We just have to get a PlayStation 5 within 2 years. A daunting task, I know, but...
I mean... Yeah. That might actually be the problem. Because, yeah...
Yeah, I'll be honest. I just saw the highlights of the KOTOR remake, the Marvel stuff, and I was like, okay, I guess I don't need to watch this because nobody was talking about anything else. Oh, and the data war. Like, that's all anyone tweeted about. So I was like, well, I guess I don't need to watch this.
I mean, it makes sense. That's the only thing that I saw here that was important, to be fair.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the Sony showcase. But we still have more Marvel news. So Crystal Dynamics has laid out some of the things they are planning to do before the end of the year. First and foremost, their take on the Spider-Man will finally be released on the Sony platforms before the end of the year.
Maybe.
I can't wait for everyone to be disappointed that it's not Insomniac Spider-Man, and I just have to be here and go, they told you months ago it wasn't going to be. Do you not read? Do you not listen? They told you. They told you.
Okay. Yes. But at the same time, if that actually is the complaint that people have, then what that tells me is the only thing that people think could potentially save this game is if Insomniac had a hand in it.
Honestly, I don't know how the Black Panther expansion has like move the needle on that game.
I mean, I'm willing to bet probably not much at all because, you know, it's kind of done burnt everyone.
Yeah. But they're bumping up the level cap, the power cap to like 175. And they have a raid where you get to fight Claw again. So you already fight Claw on the Battle for Wakanda expansion to start with. And we'll cap off the story arc for Battle for Wakanda. So, yay! Even though I feel like from what I saw, it's already ended off. Shall I spoil you on it?
I mean, it's not like I'm gonna actually buy the game, so sure.
Alright, so spoilers for this expansion. Essentially, Black Panther, with the help of the Avengers, beats up Claw. They beat him. He decides to go join the Avengers initiative, but since Wakanda needs a ruler, he promotes Shuri to interim queen and leaves her in charge to do stuff while he's busy with the Avengers initiative.
So what I'm hearing is really not much happened.
Not really. What I just described to you takes, I think, like 3 hours to get through in the game.
I'm not even surprised on that.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the short and long of it. Marvel's Avengers continues to be a game that I would like to not have anything to do with.
I mean, I did try while it was free for a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Tried it for all of about maybe 20 minutes. And I was like, yeah, this is still the same problems I was having with it before. Never mind. I'm leaving.
Well, do you remember last year when we had that issue of us not getting codes for Zarude?
Yeah.
For the newsletter?
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of people had an issue with that?
Yep.
So they're doing another one of those. Only it's for Zarude, but he has his pink cape thing and a shiny Celebi. It's still going to be the newsletter. Why?
Oh, so no one's going to get it again. Cool.
Yeah, because I literally checked. I'm getting the newsletter now, but there's this big gap right when I was supposed to get a code that it just didn't happen. So I can't wait to not get Zarude. God damn it. We have a system. It's called Log On and Boot Up Sword and Shield. Go to Receive Gift via internet and get your fucking Pokemon. Why isn't that just the default? Why does it have to be the newsletter?
Or, you know, you could also try to go a step further there and try to get people to play the game again. And do them as Dynamax battles.
Mm-hmm. That too. That'd actually be better.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. But no.
And if you wanted to limit it to people that only had the DLC, throw them on one of the islands only.
Yeah.
You could even go a step further. Put one on one island and one on the other.
Yeah. Well, give me a second. I gotta step away real quick.
Gotta love the dum 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 mentality on that one.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So yeah, god damn it, I can't wait to not have Sarut. Anyway, a bit of an interesting article. So, have you ever read a statement that says nothing a lot?
Can't say that I have.
So, apparently Platinum wants to show off Bayonetta 3, but says it's not their call. And Hideki Kamiya, and this is his quote, about talking about showing the game before the end of this year. I will read this quote in full. Make sense of this if you will. It was more of a not definitely something will come out this year, but if there is a year, then something should happen, right? If you remember last time, I said that even though everyone was asking about Bayonetta 3, maybe you should tell everyone to forget about it for a while. I kind of need to keep to that stance for now, but ultimately, it's not our decision what to say and when to say it, as much as everyone is claiming to see it, or as much as everyone is clamoring to see it. We are really, really wanting to release it soon. Or release it too. Everyone who's working on the project is, of course, very proud of what we're doing and wants everyone to see what we're doing. As much as the fans are waiting for it, we are waiting for the day that when we can show it. We want everyone to cheer us on as we run to the final stretch. We want to show it too. Okay. What do you make sense of that as?
That we just danced around an entire point because Nintendo said, you say something, we kill you.
Apparently. Because that is a whole lot of, we would like to show you the game, but not telling us why you can't show game. Just that you can't, I guess. They didn't even really say they can't. They just say they want to. I do not compute the statement. This said nothing. This was literally nothing. Kamiya, you could have just said nothing. You could have just said no comment, and it would have been the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Granted, we're also waiting on the potential possibility of a Nintendo Direct for this month, since, by the way, we've had a proper Nintendo Direct in September for the last, 5 years. So, yeah. We're gonna get a Nintendo presentation of some kind this month. I wonder when. I can't wait for it to be next week. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and they give us a 48-hour notice on it being Tuesday. And I'm like, God damn it, Nintendo, you could have waited a week. So yeah, that is the current status on Bayonetta 3. But now, more Marvel news, because I forgot to put this with the other Marvel news.
Because that would have made sense.
Yes. I am terrible at plotting out when we should talk about what.
Yes.
So, you remember Midnight Suns?
Yes.
Tactics game from the XCOM devs. Yay, fun. It looked cool from the teaser. We finally got to look at gameplay. I am now that meme of, I had no fear about this game, and then they showed me this, and now I have one incredibly strong fear. So, instead of the standard XCOM fare, where it's grid-based with abilities and stuff, it seems to be a bit more freeform. It seems to be more area-based. Also, give me a second. I need to step away. All right, I'm back.
Okay.
So the gameplay for this, I'll actually start with the things that don't worry me. So there's a lot of dialogue options for you to choose when talking to characters. And oddly enough, Wanda's name dropped in this game, which makes me now realize, that's weird. She's not in this game at the moment. I wonder if she might show up at some point.
I mean, I would say so.
Yeah. But you have dialogue options, you have a base that you can interact with different characters. The gameplay itself, like the proper combat, is 3-man squads, at least at the current moment. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a bigger squad eventually. But it seems to be more area-based, so there's like a circular area you can move, and you can move within that range. And when you attack enemies, you have the ability to like knock them back into stuff. So you can knock them back into other enemies, or knock them back into environmental stuff to do extra damage. Here's the problem. All of your abilities are card-based. And it looks like you need to research with Doctor Strange to get more abilities and stuff. And there's a thing in there I saw in the gameplay where it showed 3 cards you picked up and you already owned 2 of them on the save file for this. Hey, look, a thing that is easily abusable with microtransactions. Don't do it. Don't. I'm begging you, don't. Please. I would like to enjoy this game. Don't do it. Don't.
Oh, they're
Please.
doing it.
I know, but 2K, please. Please don't fuck this game up.
Nope,
It's
they're
not
doing
that
it.
hard. Yeah. But like otherwise, like there's not too much else. Granted, I don't think there would be too much else to talk about, to be honest. Unless you get knee deep into the specific characters and what they're capable of. You're the player character, the hunter, is all completely customizable. You can pick the gender, so you can be male or female. I don't know if they're going to let you choose your pronouns or not. But you can at least be outwardly male or outwardly female. And I guess depending on the options, be somewhere in the middle if you desire. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know tactics aren't your cup of tea, but how do you feel?
I mean, I seem to recall I made the comment. Is it too soon to say I told you so?
Yeah.
Kind of saw that one coming a mile away, actually.
Yeah, because it's 2K is the publisher on this, and I'm like, all right, they did fine with all the XCOM games. They wouldn't fuck over Froxus by forcing them to put in a whole bunch of microtransaction bullshit in one of their video games, would they? But then I'm like, all right, the last WWE game lost them a ton of money. They might be hurting on money. They might be wanting to push microtransactions, especially because a lot of their sports games, I think, have microtransactions like this. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I was so happy about this. I was so excited. And now I'm just like, I have to wait till release. I have to wait to see if the other shoe drops on this game. But yeah, that is all the news for the week. So shall we talk about the dumb thing?
Yes.
All right, so
The dumb thing I can't fit on the screen properly.
So Hawkilles, who's one of the Toku folks on Twitch, recently on Thursday, which is why I was late starting Thursday, because I was in the chat for this one, did a Toku prediction show for Revice. Him, Pronghorn Heroes, Squall, and I forget the fourth person. I don't remember their name. But the four of them did a little predictions game about what Revice is going to do over the course of the season. And they broke down into three categories. It broke down into yes or no questions, a certain count of questions, and three specific things you think are going to happen. Since I was in the chat, threw out all my answers for all of these questions, and I figured, I'll write these down and keep a hold on them and see if my points total is better than all four of these chuckleheads. I want to see if I can legitimately beat them. And since I've thought, well, the podcast is this week, we could probably use more time on stuff. Why don't I see what Tommy thinks about all these questions? So while you have your answers here, I will ask you the questions anyway, and we can talk about our respective answers and go through them. Since we did all of these off one episode of Knowledge.
Yeah.
One episode in.
And quite frankly, with this, for the most part, literally on my end of it, just the one episode of Knowledge and past experience kind of deal.
Same. Although I had like future knowledge of some toy listing information that I know about thanks to Matt Hunt, who, like, if you're not following Matt Hunt for that kind of information, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. He's like the main guy for that kind of stuff.
Which I did not have that information, so yeah.
It does not change that much, to be honest, because all it does is go, hey, there's a secondary rider who has the same gimmick as the first one. That only really affects one answer. Or one question. And to be honest, I think we both accounted for it, whether we thought about it or not.
Possibly.
Yeah. So, the first question, and this is the yes or no categories, and these are worth 1 point apiece. Will the final boss be beaten by the base form with a different name?
Duh.
Yeah, I was like, that's an easy yes, because yes, both 01 and Saber have done this, but I have mentioned before that we have been doing this technically since Forza. We have just now have a merchandisable thing that Bandai will sell you on Premium Bandai for it. Duh. Of course Bandai's going to try to sell you a thing. So of course they're going to do this again. Because I'm pretty sure the Memorial set for 01 did well, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Wonder Almighty book is going to do well again. So they ain't stopping anytime soon, whether we like it or not.
And we don't.
Number 2. Will the final boss be one of our 3 starting Deadman? Specifically them. That was the question. It was one of them 3. Not if it was going to be one of them 3 plus whatever the fuck the statue thing's name is. I forget. That thing. No, it's got to be one of them 3.
Yeah, again, this one's another... No. That's a duh question.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Technically, that's been the case for 01 in Saber. Technically, is our final boss. Okay, our final boss has been someone that was in episode 1 as a villain. Is kind of the gist of the question.
01 is that tricky one?
I know, because that gets into the conversation of, okay, is Arc in general the final boss, or are we talking specifically Hiropi? Because that final boss is not technically Aruto versus Hiropi.
Yeah.
Technically.
Like that's technically sense. That's technically a 2v1 with both of them fighting the Arc.
Right. They are fighting the Arc's influence on themselves while beating the shit out of each other to do so.
And I guess at that point, I guess at that point the answer would actually be no for 01.
Yeah.
Because the Ark wasn't technically a starting villain.
Yeah,
it was
it's
just
in the
this
same
antagonistic force supporting the starting villains.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the thing the three villains are trying to revive and revice at the current moment.
Yeah.
So my thought is for the no is it's either going to be that, because that would make sense, or it's someone else we haven't met yet. And considering
That's
we are
the one
dealing,
I'm kind of leaning towards. Because
and considering we have,
we already have a reason for the first one to come.
yep. And considering we have this third party of Phoenix, and I've seen episode 2 now, and there's a certain thing in the opening with George, I'm like, oh, this is villain material. We'll get to it soon. Look, I swear to God, if I get 5 points, just 5 points apiece because of all my predictions that are based purely on Ultraman Rube knowledge, fuck yeah, get fucked. It's what you get for not respecting Ultraman. But yeah, that is... I think it's someone within Phoenix. If it's not the other bad guy, it's somebody within Phoenix. Who that ends up being, I don't know. I'm willing to bet it's someone we've not met.
Maybe, or it could be someone pulling the strings for both.
Yeah.
Like, we could have this silent third... I wouldn't say group.
Yeah.
But at least some kind of silent third party that winds up becoming the villain into the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Because I was going to point out that Double's final boss didn't appear until late in the show. O's final boss technically didn't become a proper villain until halfway through the show. They were support the entire time. So it wasn't even one of the core 4 greeds. Gremlin wasn't even in the start of the show of Wizard, was he?
I don't think so.
No, it was Medusa and Phoenix. He came in later. Gaim, none of the proper villains were the final boss. It was Baron. Bono didn't show up until...
Okay. But that one is kind of an outlier because we also knew about that from episode 1.
True. Bono didn't show up until after Mach showed up. And that's 20 episodes into the show.
After Mach and Dead Heat, wasn't it?
I think so. I remember our first introduction to Bono was Go pulling out a tablet, and there was Bono's like avatar talking to him about stuff.
Yeah, it was after Dead Heat, even.
Okay.
Because it was before the Freeze arc.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Ghost. Our final boss didn't show. Who do we pick? The boring computers or the boring villain? Because both of them weren't there at the start. Granted, Ghost kind of soft rebooted itself once it was out of the 15 heroic icon gathering thing, so
yeah.
Masamune didn't show up until I think
about
the 30s.
Actually, well, 1 second and I can give you a rough idea.
He wasn't there till halfway through the show, I feel like, because it was Dan for a lot of it.
Early 20s.
Okay.
Is where he started showing his self. He didn't. I don't think he actually became active villain though until around 30s.
I was about to say he didn't become an active villain until he got out of prison, because he was in prison at the start. And once he came out of prison,
I feel like, especially because I'm doing a rewatch at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was pulling strings.
Yeah, Masamune was already, by the time he became proper villain, we had already established Kamen Rider Chronicle, which means we had already had Dan dead and revived, and Poppy did her heel face turn. We were deep into the show till once Masamune finally showed up.
Yeah.
And, well, Build and Geo technically get to be in this conversation because Evolt was there from episode 1, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we knew.
Yeah, we didn't know who Stark was
until. I don't think we actually saw his form until like episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So he's the yes, technically he was there from the start, but the show could have went a different way, so I guess really
Yeah, and then Schwartz was there from the start, and he was our final boss. So, like, it's possible, but I'm going to err on the side of odds and say no.
Same.
Question number 3. Will the official secondary writer, aka not Vice, even though Vice is technically a writer, be blue? I said no.
I almost feel like that one maybe. Like, that's the one I said yes simply because I'm like, I'm on the fence.
I'm saying no because Vice is already blue.
Okay. Fair.
That is the only reason.
Except I'm going to counter with Build.
Fair. The only reason I say no is because Vice is blue. And since he's already technically a writer, even though his form is not blue, because I think he loses all the... No, he still has... His eyes are still blue in his forms. I don't think they would double up on a major blue writer. I think they would choose something else.
It depends on how we're treating additional writers going forward.
Right.
If we're treating them all like how we're seeing with Revy and Vice, maybe? Because at that point you would assume the human writer would be the quote-unquote focus for the writer form.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're treating both equal, then maybe I could see that being a no. That's one of those, it's like, this one's gonna be tricky.
Here's what I know about toy listings in the future. I know that there is definitively a listing for a secondary writer. And there is definitively a listing for a second writer buddy, which is Vice. And I know that the secondary writer, I don't know if they're using a different driver or not, but I know that they are using, I believe this is more rumors than listings, but they're going to be using the Wizard and Ryuki Vice models or Vice stamps. And they might be having those based off Dark Riders rather than the proper Riders. Potentially. That is the foreknowledge I have. So I knew there were 4 Riders to start with. Because technically Vice and this Rider Buddy are going to count as Riders because they are technically called Kamen Rider Vice and Kamen Rider whatever the fuck this guy's name's going to end up being.
But yeah, that's the big reason why I'm like, I could see it.
I mean, honestly, we've had more secondary writers be not blue than blue.
Fair.
Like, if you're basing this purely off Rara, yeah, this might end up being blue because both of our secondary writers are blue. But
I wasn't actually thinking about that, but okay.
Yeah, that's the entire reason the question is here is because both Vulcan and Blades are blue.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
But here's the thing. The Rara era has yet to be able to define itself separately from Phase 2 Heisei era. Because there's not enough time separating it from the Phase 2 of Heisei era for it to actually try to find its own identity. That's something the first half of the Heisei era dealt with. Like, Kuga and Agito onward, we're trying to find what Heisei era writer meant. That's going to be the same for the Rara era. It's going to take a while for the Rara era to find what it defines it differently. Because right now, it's just Heisei era Phase 3, to be honest. There's nothing truly distinctly different from it. From any other Phase 2 show.
True.
So, if you're basing your assumptions just on the previous 2 shows, I've got bad news for you. You probably should consider the other 10 that came before those 2 as well. Because that's the foundation that the Rara era is currently built upon. Truly. But question 4. Will the Quarter 3 power-up be a Berserker form?
I feel like that one's a no.
Yeah, I said no.
I started to even go back and be like, could that be a yes? And then I was like, really? No.
I mean, technically, the last 2 shows have done that with Primitive and Metal Hopper, but I don't know if I count Primitive because that technically isn't the same slot. That's the one before that. Elemental is technically in that Quarter 3 slot.
Well, and if you go back further, Geo didn't have one.
Yeah. And Builds wasn't Quarter 3.
Hazard, but
that wasn't Quarter 3. That was Quarter 2.
And on top of that, Hazard built upon for Rabbit Rabbit and Tank Tank.
Yep.
So I don't really feel like you can count that on its own either.
Mm-hmm.
X I didn't.
Honestly, the last time we had
that actually didn't. For the
honestly,
most part.
the last time, yeah, the last time we had a Berserker form even remotely close to the Quarter 3 slot was never.
Because
correction, never.
Because honestly speaking, yeah, going before that, really what I said about builds is kind of the only one.
Yeah, because Putotera is final form. Doubles was Quarter 2. And there was not a Berserker form past them. So
yeah.
Twice is a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, like you said, if Primitive actually wasn't the Q3 form, then technically we've only had the oddball.
Yeah. Alright. Last question of the yes nos. Will the final boss be redeemed?
I feel like the only answer really for this one's no.
Yeah.
Because the only way I could even see it potentially working is if you legitimately had an episode only to redeem the final boss.
Yeah.
And that feels like a waste of an episode at that point.
Yeah. I mean, 01 technically did a redemption for Hirobi, but I don't honestly count that as a redemption because the whole end arc of 01 is a very truncated version of something.
They worked with, truthfully, Hirobi's redemption started long before any arc form became a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, That one I don't count. And as we pointed out, you can play that one of two ways. You can either treat Hirobi as final villain, or you can actually treat the Arc as final villain, and the latter one actually makes everything make a lot more sense.
Yeah. And I am not counting Saber's garbage writing. No one got redeemed in that final scene.
No,
that doesn't count.
I didn't watch most of the season, and even I'm like, no, that does not count.
No, fucking, they put more work in the guy than they did for fucking Storius. No, that was them beating the shit out of him and him doing nothing. Fucking Gamal from Forze did more to redeem himself at the end of the series than Storius did.
What's bad was your statement about Guy is exactly correct.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like that one was a half-baked idea because of the fact of they kind of couldn't leave him as villain.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kind of had to go with other things.
Yeah. Yeah, that is all our 1-point questions. Now we move on to the 3-point questions. Now for these, for every number you are off, you are -1 points. I think until you hit 0. I don't think you can go negative on these I'll find out when they decide to do the tallies at the end of the season, whether or not that's the case. Currently in the Excel sheet, technically it's negative, but I'll just overwrite it as 0 if it goes down far enough. But the first question, how many riders do we get?
I only changed number because I'm like, yeah, we can't be the same on these.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you actually hit the nail on the head.
Well, it gets in the predictions I have, and I'm like, yeah, we'll probably hit around 8. I'm also doing that because of Arc 5, I found out that Roku, which is the Japanese word for 8, is similar to the word for death. And because of the things of this series, I'm like, that seems like a very pun number to do.
Yep.
So I'm going to say 8. Because what I'm expecting is we'll probably get a primary and secondary writer that have their writer buddies. But I don't think that's going to carry over for the whole season. I think if we get a tertiary writer, they'll have either an artificial dead man, I think is what Vice is. I don't even know what the name of the monsters are for this season. I'm trying to think if they've even said what the names of the monsters are.
I don't think they did.
Oh, they are just Dead Man.
Oh.
Okay.
That won't be confusing at all.
No. They're just whatever animal they are, Dead Man. So I guess Vice is the Vice Dead Man, or whatever. Or I guess he's just Vice. But I expect the third writer to either have an artificial Dead Man or have no Dead Man in general.
I'm
just to
leaning
diversify
on the
them.
no at all.
Yeah.
And that also leads into part of the reason I differ on you on the driver count.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that is partially because, I mean, it feels like we're wanting to do a lot more for toys.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Honestly, I just tossed a number.
I could see us having a bigger number of riders, especially since we're counting Revy and Vice as 2 separate riders instead of 1. Because, you know, that makes sense. Our number could actually even be off.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, because of the way I've noticed they're wanting to do with the drivers, I'm like, yeah, you probably want more drivers. So bigger rider numbers are probably going to be a thing.
Yeah. That's why I was like closer to 10, because I'm like, we're probably gonna get close to 10, to be honest.
That's why
I wouldn't be
actually when I differed from you, I went up one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, if anything, it's going to be more. It's not going to be less.
Mm-hmm. But then, speaking of drivers, how many drivers do we get? I said 4.
Again, much like with the number of riders, I went up one because, like I said, if anything, it's going to be more. Not going to be less.
Like, the Revice driver is going to be 1. I don't expect that to be shared. Because usually if you get your driver named after you, that's yours. You don't get to share that. Unless you're Fies. But that's a different show. But that's only because everyone else gets to use your driver and just be Fies. It's not a you get to be a different rider kind of situation. But I don't know. I just threw a number out there because I'm like, 4 maybe? Like, it's going to be some stupid number, I feel like, by the end of the series. Because especially if they start throwing the stuff that's not going to be in toy catalogs and going to be premium Bandai, it could be as fucking high as they want it to be. Because Jin's Slash Riser was premium Bandai. Sabella and Durandal's swords were premium Bandai. Neither one of those were in toy listings. So they could just throw those out whenever.
We'll see. What I'm kind of thinking is, one, you're exactly right. You don't get a driver named for the rider that is used by more than just that person.
Yeah.
So at that point, that pretty much guarantees us 2.
Mm-hmm.
In the mindset of a tertiary rider that doesn't utilize the buddy system, that would mean another driver there. So we're already at 3.
Yeah.
If we keep adding riders, then that number's just going to keep going up.
Yeah, I'm more willing to take a loss on it because, like, it's a crapshoot to guess.
Yeah. I was thinking back to 01, and I think we actually hit 5 or maybe 6 drivers. I'm not counting the ARC driver.
Well, you had 01, you had Shot, you had Slash, you had Force, you had Thouser. Technically in show you had 5 outside of ARC.
Oh man, there was 8 altogether.
Well, no. Oh no, 6, 9. 02.
Yeah, 9 altogether.
Yeah.
Because the Raid Riser, the Zetsma Riser, and the ARC, and the ARC driver would all count as well when you count all that. So yeah. Oof, we could be off.
Yeah, and let's see. I'm trying to think of Saber because I'm like, Seiken Sword Driver, I think is just supposed to be a single driver regardless of which of the 3 swords it's inserted in. So that's 1. And then you have the 3 of the other 3 riders from Southern Base. And I think, it's like 1 driver per rider at that point because they all got unique drivers more or less.
God.
I think the only ones that weren't were Solomon and Storius because they technically shared a driver. They just had different books. I think they're technically the same driver. So you just fucking have to go high. You either go high or you admit defeat.
Ugh.
All right, number 3. How many episodes do we get?
I mean, we said the same on that one, because when I saw what you had, I'm like, yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, I think 48 is the average, without actually getting the total episode counts for every single writer series and putting them in Excel and averaging it out. I think the average is 48.
I mean, 01 would throw it off, so you would have to exclude that if you did.
It was 45, so it wouldn't be that far down. Some shows have went 50, but I think as long as you're in the 40, I think the 47 to 49 range, that's about the standard. Because some shows have went to 52 and some shows have went to 45. Because like Decade went 30.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to be within somewhere within 48. Number 4, the question I love because it's that thing that people argue about and I hate it. How many main rider final forms do we get? Essentially,
I'm kind of at the... Yeah, I don't know on that one.
I said 3 because 3 feels like a nice standard number because I feel like we're going to get back to a more standard show. So I feel like we're going to get the proper final form, which is technically the Psycho form, because everyone doesn't use the actual official term that Toei uses ever. Just for reference. This final form term that we all use is technically a fan term. That's not a Toei term. That's a fan term. That's why everyone argues about it. Don't make me quote Taka at you. He makes a very valid point about all this.
I mean, fair.
Like, we'll get that. We will get the last episode form. And then we will get some special movie form. Therefore, 3. I could see it being 4 if they decide, if you technically count, or if you technically look at like 02 and Cross Saber as their own separate riders, those are technically final forms then. Because of the weird things with them, it would technically be 4 in that case, because you would count the form before those. So it'd be like Elemental and Metal Hopper, which fucking do what you will. But I feel like
the solo movie never actually implemented a new final form replacement for 01. So actually it still would be 3.
Right. I think Hercules was going to count Hell Rising Hopper, but I'm like, no, Hell Rising does not count. Hell Rising does not count. A thing trying to murder Aruto does not count. If so, we have to count 001 in this conversation, and I will draw the fucking line there, and I will die on that hill, damn it.
but yeah, I mean, that would actually mean the 3.
Yeah.
Because we also have to think that, okay, to argue his point, we would also have to think that progress key no longer exists.
Uh-huh.
So how can he use a form that he can no longer access?
Right.
Movie exclusive or not.
Yeah.
Because we've had plenty of movie exclusive forms that just silently disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think 3 is just the nice, safe number to go by.
Thinking of it that way, yeah.
All right, number 5. How many times will Revy and Vice fight seriously?
Yeah, I don't honestly know.
I'm going to say 5, just to throw a number out there, because from episode 1 and now having watched the Raw for episode 2, they're at each other's throats a lot. They're going to be fighting a lot.
I feel like the way I was kind of thinking of it was is more like fights big enough to push the plot a certain direction.
Yeah.
And to that, I was kind of thinking our 3 big upgrade forms and then maybe before the final fights kind of deal.
Probably.
Be that nice character develop moments where that's where they're gonna butt heads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of was like, yeah, I'll go one lower actually here.
Honestly, that's one. It's more that's a crapshoot. I'm just gonna throw a number out and just see if it sticks. I don't expect this to hold true.
I mean, fair. I fully expect one of them throughout the entire series to be a case of Vice deciding to just be as close to a villain as he can be.
He already is. He's trying to eat 2 people of Iki's family members already.
I mean, trying to and actually doing is where I'm kind of going with. Because that also kind of ties into the reason why I said what I did for the next one.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. So, question 6. How many main cast deaths, not counting villains, will happen? It doesn't matter if if they stay dead or not. They just have to take a death regardless of respawn.
I feel like as lighthearted as it is going into the first episode, that honestly the reason why I went with 2 was because of the simple fact of as much as I hate saying it, I feel like the parents might wind up being that kind of a deal.
Okay. I have a different take on this.
Maybe not so much a case of gone for good kind of deal. But maybe gone at least for an episode or 2 to maybe push all of them to work together a little bit more. There again kind of comes down to the whole like you were saying about all 3 siblings being riders kind of deal. Yeah.
So I have a different take on this. First and foremost, Vice is taking a death. It will happen because guess what? Every single person that has ever been in his position have died. All of them.
I mean,
all of them.
If we want to go that route too, though, how many of our main riders have actually took a knee?
The few.
Just saying.
Vice is taking a death because I would like to point out, Ankh took a death. Ankh has taken several deaths at this point.
Yeah, pretty much every time Ankh comes back, he takes another death.
Paradox has taken a death. Poppy's taken a death.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Dino. All 4 of the Imagine are going to take a death in the series.
Doesn't surprise me.
Let's see, who else? Oh, Wizard Dragon. Since he's technically in the same position as Vice because,
oh, yeah.
depending on... Yeah, he took a death. Every single time we have a good guy monster, they take a death. It's whether or not you're popular enough to be worth reviving.
Which I hope at that point he is, kind of deal.
Probably. So yeah, he is taking a death. I'm willing to bet Iki's gonna take a death at some point as well. Because, fuck it, might as well have the main writer die.
True.
Because there's good odds that he's gonna take a death. And then, I don't know, some other important cast member is going to take a death. I don't know who. Someone else probably will. It'll probably be something shocking for Christmas. That's the reason I picked 3, because I'm like, Vice will take a death, odds are Iki's gonna take a death. Someone's probably gonna die at Christmas, or for an important plot point at some point in the show.
You bringing the Christmas thing up though? Yeah, that kind of. Ooh.
Yeah, someone could die at Christmas.
And that would really be throwing the X-Side vibes.
Uh-huh. But the last group was more your specific predictions. So you just had to do just had to make 3 specific predictions, and they could be as specific as you wanted them to be. Because I will point out, Hoculus, one of his 3 predictions was Vice wears a Santa suit for the Christmas episode.
I mean, I'm kind of at a blank for this one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like stuff like that you know is going to be a given.
Mm-hmm.
Vice is intended to be the comedic character. Of course he's going to wear a Santa costume in the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Just saying. I feel like stuff like that really shouldn't be, so I honestly don't have an idea on this one.
But yeah, all 3 of mine are specifically because Ultraman Rube has a very similar setup to this show of the family is the main cast. You have the brother in that show you had the brothers who were the Ultramen. In this show you have the brother who is the writer. More on that in a minute. You have like outside tech company with a lead person that we interact with a lot that turns into a lead person a lot. You have strange, mysterious female character as one of our main villains. It also was a pseudo legacy show or pseudo anniversary show with the legacy stuff. There's 2 main heroes. In this case, it's Revy and Vice. There's a lot that's similar in the core setup. They are still very different, like once you get into the details and stuff. But those core conceits are why I say this very specific things. And guess what? The show's backing me up on this off the opening in episode 2. So, first and foremost, all 3 of the siblings will be writers. That happened in Rube. The 2 brothers and the sister all became Ultraman. And guess what visuals are in the opening? There's a lot of the brother riding around on his motorcycle being like Phoenix Man with gun, and there's enough of the sister doing her karate stuff. But there's not a whole lot of the parents. And guess what? The opening ends on the 2 brothers and the sister doing things. I wonder what that means. Also, I will point out, we have had a female writer in the last 3 shows, to some degree. And right now, there's only 2 options.
Okay.
Assuming we don't get another one.
No, I'm more saying this one.
Mm-hmm.
From a technicality, last 3 shows, I'll give you that one.
Right.
Do we really count Tsukiyomi?
She was in an episode of the show, therefore it counts enough.
But do we really count her?
Fair. But that's why I say that.
Now,
second one.
Now, I mean, I can give you last 2.
Uh-huh.
Last 3, that's where I'm like, on the technicality, fine.
Mm-hmm. But also, I will point out, a lot of episode 1 and 2 have been about Iki trying to get his brother to be the writer in place of him. I wonder who our secondary writer is going to be. It totally won't be the brother at this rate.
Yeah. And it totally won't happen within the next couple of episodes either.
Because I bear in mind, I missed this one watching the Raw, but I saw it in one of the Discords I'm in. We might have already seen the second driver for the series because it was in a computer case.
Wouldn't surprise
in the background. So we might have already we might be teasing that already. So, second one, George will become a villain. I do not say permanently. I do not say of his own accord, just he will be a villain at some point in the show. Because his counterpart in Ultraman Rube was the villain, and they are both fanboys of their respective franchises. The difference currently is that the guy in Rube was a toxic fanboy. He was a terrible fanboy. He had all the wrong ideas of what Ultraman was. We don't know how George really feels about Riders. And he has some very villainous looking shots in the opening. So I'm willing to bet he becomes a villain at some point. I don't know if he'll stay villain or not. I also wouldn't be surprised if he's the tertiary writer of the show and he starts as a villain and then gets redeemed. Because I doubt that the writer fanboy will not want to slap a driver on and become a writer. Because that's going to happen. I'm almost willing to put money on that. But lastly, Aguilera, our female main villain, she'll get redeemed. Whether or not she dies for it, I don't know. But she's going to get a redemption. Because guess who out of our three main villains right now has no monster form? Guess who out of our three main villains has at least some sort of backstory? Guess who out of our main three villains seems to have the possibility of being redeemed at the moment? It'll happen. I'm almost willing. Because again, in Ultraman Rube, her counterpart was a villain, got redeemed, did die for it though. But technically she was face, then turned heel, then turned back face. So. But those are 5 points apiece. They just have to happen. I think also for their show or for their thing, you couldn't repeat the prediction of someone else. And you could also bet against someone that it won't happen. And if you won that bet, you got the points. But if you lost the bet, you lost that amount of points. I'm not going to bother with that.
Yeah.
No. Because number one, I'm not betting against anyone. Not on one episode of Information. No. I am not confident enough to attempt to bet against anyone. I don't care.
To be fair, this is the part where I'm just like, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we do the no repeating, yeah. I don't know what to throw off of because you're exact. I feel like you're nailing those three.
Yeah. Because all three of those feel like, oh, those are going to be big story beats. Those are the big moments.
Yeah. The only thing I kind of wonder if they could one up is maybe instead of just stopping at giving her a redemption arc, maybe making her into a light show rider kind of deal.
I will also point out that in Ultraman Rube, our third Ultraman, who was the sister, her henshin device came from the respective villain of this show. And the respective villain used that to transform into monsters, but not Ultraman. So, yes, I could incredibly see that. Because Squall brought this up, and I find it weird that that I said it in chat, and I don't know if he even realized it, but he was describing that the dead man were like the demons that have taken over their humans and killed them. And just that's what lets them transform into their human forms. Do you know what that sounds like? Hi, Phantoms from Wizard. That's exactly what Phantoms and Wizard are.
Yep.
They are the Phantoms that have murdered their host and have taken their skin as a suit. That's the entire plot point with Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, everyone forgot about Wizard. I don't know if that's the case for Deadman. For the Deadman, because we haven't really gotten to what the Deadman are in this show. 2 episodes in. Granted, we also have this mystery of this original Vice Stamp that totally won't become the thing that turns into the final form. I don't doubt that for a second.
Fair.
But we haven't gotten to what the Deadman are, and I think someone had the prediction of the 3 Deadman were a part of the original, like, dig team, maybe. But that doesn't make sense with Aguilera's backstory at the moment, so I don't know. Granted, again, we don't have a monster form for her yet.
If that was the case, though, I wouldn't think that kind of information would be widespread.
Right.
So that's the point where I'm like, I don't know on that one.
Yeah, Aguilera's got the backstory of, like, she was never loved or anything, doesn't know what love is, and that's what drove her to be a part of the Deadman. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense with her being on the dig team, so I doubt that's the case. We also only really focus on one person in the dig team, and that's not into the 3 people. I wonder if he's going to be a surprise villain later. Because he's stamped himself. So that's a possibility. But I don't know. I'm just throwing these out there because I'm like, let's see if Ultraman Rube saves me. Because I will say this, Squall's first prediction was the one about the 3 siblings. And that was the only one anyone took.
Huh.
So I would technically need a 4th prediction to win. But I will also point out I said it in chat before he said his. At least from my perspective. But yeah, I guess anything else to talk about with the Revice?
I don't guess so.
All right, then. So, releases. We got a lot to get through. So, we kick things off on the 13th with the Rewinder for Switch. On the 14th, Colors Live for Switch, Cruise and Blast for Switch, Deathloop for PlayStation 5, Ever Forward for PlayStation 4 and 5, Hoa for PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch, Instant Sports Paradise for Switch, and Where the Heart Lands for PlayStation 4. On the 15th, Arkin, the Dog Adventurer for Xbox Series X, Between Time Escape Room for Switch, Collateral Damage Rimosted for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch, Dustwind, The Last Resort for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5, Flynn, Son of Cruzman for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, Merc's Market for Xbox One, Mind Cell for Switch, Mr. Pumpkin 2, Kowloon, Walled City for Xbox One, Omen of Sorrow for Xbox One, Titan Chaser for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 16th, Beyond Enemy Lines Remastered Edition for Switch, Classical Logical Bundle for Switch, Eastward for Switch, Elev the Echo Dragon for Switch, I Am Fish for Xbox One and Series X, Metallic Child for Switch, Murder Diaries for Switch, Poker Pretty Girls Battle Texas Hold'em for Switch, Project Winter for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Raisin EX for Switch, Skatebird for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, The Amazing American Circus for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 17th, Absolute End of Gods for Xbox One and Series X, Ericgame 2 for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5, Dojorin for Switch, Earth Marines for Xbox One, Galactic Invasion for Switch, Murder Diaries for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I missed that somehow. I always seem to miss one.
What I don't get though is how you managed to still miss that one.
I don't know. Nexomon for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Prince's Edition for Switch. Toem for PlayStation 5 and Switch. Tales of Iron for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 18th, Song in the Smoke for PlayStation 4 and Oculus Quest, and Squabble for Switch. On the 21st, Absolute End of Gods for PlayStation 4 and 5. Kena and Bridge of Spirits for PlayStation 4 and 5, Street Outlaws 2, Winner Takes All for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch, and World War Z Aftermath for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. On the 22nd, Collections of Saga, Final Fantasy Legend for Android and iOS, Crisis Wing for Switch, Pokemon Unite for Android and iOS, Subdivision Infinity DX for PlayStation 5. On the 23rd, Feast Breaker for Switch, Chef's Tale for Switch, Diablo 2 Resurrection for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Diablo Prime Evil Collection for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5. Ember for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch. Fighting Fantasy Legends for Switch. Fisty Fluffs for Switch. Mega Quit for Switch. MechWarriors 5 Mercenaries. And Heroes of the Inner Sphere for PlayStation 4 and 5. Rhythm of the Universe Ionia for PlayStation 4 and Oculus Quest. Swan, Chernobyl Unexplored for Switch. Sable for Xbox One and Series X. Stalix for Switch. Caesarian for Switch. Lord of the Rings Rise to War for Android and iOS, The Plane Effect for Switch. On the 24th, A Gummy's Life for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5, Blind Postman for Xbox One and Switch, Death Park for Xbox One, Death Stranding Director's Cut for PlayStation 5, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot plus a new Powers Awakens set for Switch, Little Kite for Xbox One, Lost Judgment for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5, Port Royal 4 for Series X and PlayStation 5, Space Base Stratophobia for Switch, The Addams Family, Mansion Mayhem for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. On the 25th, In My Shadow for Switch. And lastly, on the 28th, Away, the Survival Series for PlayStation 4 and 5. Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, The First Cases for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, and Switch. Alchemic Cutie for Xbox One. Chernobyl Bite for Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Kodak Tank for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. Crisis Remastered for Switch. G-Darius HD for Switch, Ghost Runner for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, Golf with Your Friends, Code in a Box for Switch, Kiwi for PlayStation 5, Knockout Home Fitness for Switch, Lemmy's Gate for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5, Open Country for Xbox One and Series X and PlayStation 4, Outer Wilds, Echoes of the Eyes for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Overcooked Special Edition Code in a Box for Switch, Streets Rage 4 Anniversary Edition for PlayStation 4 and Switch, The Escapist 2 Code in a Box for Switch, and Unmetal for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Switch. It's only going to get longer in the next few months.
Yes.
Which takes us to quick draws, and mine is a thing that came across my Twitter feed like a couple hours ago. So, Frozen Stratus, who hosts the Soda Pop podcast that I listen to and contribute to on the Discord all the time, just if I stumble across information, I try to be there and try to contribute, and I contribute opinions about stuff. He does commissions, and he did this commission for Dresden Nova, who's also a regular on there. It is Kamen Rider Ankh using Poseidon's driver, but with his core metals, which strangely, this is not the first time I've seen this idea. Someone else I follow that does art did all 5 greeds like this. Not exactly like this, but, you know, Poseidon Driver with their core metals rider-esque form. I really like this idea. I really like this. It looks really good. I honestly feel like if you wanted to merchandise Ank's Return, repaint the Poseidon Driver, sell it on Premium Bandai with some special red core metals, you've got yourself money. Yeah, I figured I'd share this on stream. It's a cool thing. I like seeing custom rider or custom cool rider stuff. And I think he's still taking commissions at the moment. I know Frozen Strauss just got him a job, so I don't know if he's taking commissions at the moment, but if you wish to explore that option, I guess check with him first before doing so. And also check out Pop on the YouTubes. They now do their podcast at the same time we're doing our stuff, because of course they are. But
I mean, why not?
Yeah, they decided that since they're not getting their podcasts out because they pre-record them and then edit them and put them out instead of doing it live, they decided that we'll do it live for a while since we're in like a midst of a change of things for a lot of us. So yeah, they go live at like whenever after the article goes up that they decide to go live. So I get to catch it all after the fact. But that's all I had. You did not have a quick draw, correct?
Correct.
So tomorrow, I would say we have a 4-episode arc focusing on Goblin Child Ryutaros, but technically not. I'll be honest, the back half of those episodes felt really weird. Because I'm like, I distinctly remember bits of these 2 episodes for some reason. And I don't know why. So we talk Deno tomorrow. Thursday, we hopefully wrap up Case 4 of Great Ace Attorney so we can have Case 5 done before Metroid Dread comes out.
Hopefully.
I have 3 weeks, I think. Because it comes out the 9th, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I was about to say it comes out the Friday the 8th, my bad. Because it comes out on a Friday. Because Nintendo refuses to release anything on a timely schedule for me. Because I would like to pick up the game and not wait a week to play it on stream. Because I don't do midnight launches. Granted, I could pick up a digital copy and be able to play it that night, but it would be like super late. Because I mean,
if you wanted to, that would be fine.
Yeah. I just don't know how lively I'll be in order to do that exact thing.
Right.
I would rather just do, hey, it's Friday afternoon, I got the game, we're going to play it for 3 hours, and then we'll do the regular stuff, and then we'll wait a week.
I mean, to be fair, we could inverse that week.
Yeah, we could. But yeah, that's the plan for now. Fridays, we continue with Four Swords Adventures after our wonderful time trying to figure out where the fuck all these thieves were.
Yeah.
Animes. That was the worst. That might have been the worst experience I've had with Four Swords so far.
Probably the same.
Those were very bad levels.
Yeah.
But next Saturday will be a thing. of some variety.
We know. No, we actually know.
Oh.
We're continuing. SM64.
Oh, right. I'm stupid. I forgot about that. Right. We're doing all-star stuff. I forgot. So it's us continuing in the Sim 64 as we traverse through all-stars. And you get to see how bad I am at Mario.
I mean, I was already showcasing how bad I was. So.
But that brings us around the Sunday with more Dino. Well, next Sunday with more Dino. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Jumping away at that affiliate goal. At TCSoon on Twitter gets you updates in real life. Exclamation point Discord and chat. Get your Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.